Hello, in this video I'll be showing you how to make vanilla custard. To start the vanilla custard, combine 2 cups of heavy cream, 1 cup of whole milk, 3/4 cups of sugar, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and 1½ teaspoons of vanilla. Combine these ingredients over medium heat in a saucepan. I use my silicone whisk to combine all the ingredients together. This is a really great tool to make sure that I don't scratch my saucepan, but it also allows me to stir all the ingredients together. Then I start checking the temperature of the liquid. We need to heat this to 140 to 145 degrees Fahrenheit before we add it into the eggs. For any custard-based ice cream, we're going to be tempering the eggs. The benefit of tempering the eggs here is because the liquid is going to be at a higher temperature than the eggs will. So if we added the eggs directly into the liquid and then brought everything up to temperature, we would actually cause the eggs to clump together and kind of form scrambled eggs. However, by adding the heated liquid slowly into the egg yolks while stirring the egg yolks, we actually will be diluting or watering down the proteins within the egg yolks, which will prevent the eggs from scrambling. Then once we have the protein in the eggs diluted enough, we can add all of that egg mixture back into the saucepan. But again, we don't want to do this until the liquid is at 145 degrees Fahrenheit. We only want to use egg yolks for tempering eggs. We don't want any of the egg whites. So while the liquid is heating on the stove top, I separate out 4 egg yolks from the egg whites. You can use your egg whites in different recipes such as egg white omelets or even in baguettes. Then I add 1/4 cup of sugar into the egg yolks and stir to combine these together. Now that the liquid has reached 145 degrees Fahrenheit, I'm going to slowly add it into the eggs. I take a 1/4 cup measuring device and fill it with the liquid from the pan. Then I stir the egg mixture with my whisk while slowly pouring in that 1/4 cup into the egg mixture. Once I have the entire 1/4 cup poured into the egg mixture, I repeat the process, and I continue doing this until I have 1 full cup of heated liquid added into my egg mixture. A lot of people are scared of making custards because of this tempering process, but it's actually not that difficult. Now that we've tempered the egg yolks by diluting it with the heated liquid, I'm going to pour this liquid and egg mixture into the sauce pot while I slowly whisk the liquid that's already in the sauce pot. Again, here I'm slowly adding this while I'm stirring constantly to make sure that we're still diluting any of the proteins in the egg yolks. This will prevent scrambling or clumping together of the proteins. This process is what leads custard to have such a rich and smooth texture. Now that all the ingredients are finally in the sauce pot, we're going to heat this to 170 to 175 degrees Fahrenheit. I think this step is even more critical to get right than the step for tempering the eggs. The eggs need to get to about 175 degrees to fully cook. However, the cream and the milk that's in this will start to separate above 185 degrees. There's 2 proteins that are within the dairy products, casein and whey, and above 185 degrees, those 2 proteins start to separate. And this can also cause your ice cream to become clumpy. The key to getting this step right is to slowly heat the liquid up to 175 degrees Fahrenheit. Doing this slowly helps make sure that you don't go over that 175 degree threshold. You also want to make sure that you're still whisking regularly as this is heating. You want to position your thermometer in the middle of the liquid. Towards the bottom of the pan is going to be the hottest, and towards the top of the pan will be the coolest. So always try to measure this shortly after whisking the material together, and make sure that you're not touching the thermometer to the bottom of the sauce pot. Now that the liquid has reached 175 degrees Fahrenheit, we're going to pour this through a strainer into a bowl. The strainer is really useful to catch any of the eggs that might have clumped together. Then we cover this liquid mixture with some plastic wrap and place it in the fridge to cool. It needs to cool for at least 6 hours because you want this to be nice and cold when you put it into your ice cream maker. Otherwise, it can heat up your ice cream maker and won't form as nice of a custard. Once the liquid base has chilled, now it's time to add it into the ice cream maker. I use a freeze-ahead ice cream maker, so I've had my freezer bowl in the freezer for at least 24 hours. Another key for using this is to have your ice cream maker on and spinning when you add in your ice cream mix. I let the custard churn for longer than I do my non-egg based ice creams, so I'll let this mix for at least 25 minutes, even up to 30 minutes. If I'm adding in any flavorings or candies, I'll add these in within the last 5 minutes of the mixing. This recipe makes just enough to fill my 1.5 quart ice cream maker to the top without overfilling it. You can see how smooth the custard becomes as it mixes. Now that the custard has reached the consistency that I like, I scoop it out of the ice cream maker and into a pan to freeze. I make sure to clean off the paddle attachment and the edges of the bowl so that I get all the custard that was in there. Then I also scoop a little bit out for myself. At this point, it's more like a consistency of soft serve. But I'll cover the pan in plastic wrap and put it in the freezer. And within a couple of hours, this is set enough to be just like ice cream or custard that you would buy from the store. I sprinkle some mini chocolate chips over the custard that I want to eat now, and I put the rest in the freezer for later. Now that the custard has sat in the freezer for a few hours, I take my ice cream scoop and scoop out some more. Scooping this out, you can really see just how smooth and decadent this custard is. The recipe can be kind of daunting at first because of having to temper the eggs and watch the temperatures so closely, but it's absolutely worth the effort and the result is just delicious. I top this with some more mini chocolate chips and dig in. Thanks for watching this video on how to make vanilla custard. Let me know how it worked out for you in the comments below, and as always, like and subscribe to see more content.